So I'm just going to go general. Sorry about the lighting. Here, I'll try to turn it on and make it more pleasant. Because ultimately, the crisis, if there is one on the planet, it has to do with too much of something, right? And it's too much mind, really, and that comes from there being too many heads that aren't aware of themselves. And so what happens is that people that aren't so reckless as being just a head, imagining a life to be and having objects in their head about people, because those are dangerous people. See, we need sanctuary now. We need sanctuary, and that's why you're here. Most likely, well, there was like at least 170 to 240 subscribers after I did a video about covert communal narcissism. But I called it the gift-giving narcissist, which that's just one of the ways that they manipulate. And well, they make themselves have an outer facade of being, a good Samaritan. And see, those are the most dangerous because they do use a human attribute and the facade, the look of being good that works for them, right? It works for them for the most part, because how could you go wrong when you give? Well, it's when you are expecting that the accolades and the praise to come to you. Otherwise, you're doing it out of the first of all, the necessity. You had it, they needed it, and you just know how to be there. See, so boy, it's hard to tell what's going on, right? But we all know that energetically they are vamping on people in a very negative way. It could be control, it could be just outright abuse, right? All kinds of ways. And that's what I know. We need sanctuary. If it's not, see, it starts with communication, and then it leads to a balance happening financially through a support system. But really, see, this thing needs to go global, because what I mean is it will go global. Well, it's the main rabbit hole. Really, it is. And I tend to just jump ahead, and boy, it's exhausting for me because, of course, it's nothing's going to happen for me or any of us until a long way. But see, you have to start tickling the airwaves with the possibility, and see what's cool about the Uranus going into the Gemini, which it's happening today. It's going to open up not only communications, it's already been trying to happen. Really, it's already been trying to happen for the past 25 years, let alone, okay, for the last 7 years with Uranus and Taurus. It's been a put your mask on and then shh, nobody hears anything. And here, get your sound canceling goggles or earphones, earmuffs, midway through the whole process. And I can't believe how people just don't know how bad it's been for the past 7 years as far as having been muffled down and muted that way. And now you can expect what I call is through the mouths of babes. What you'll experience is just the need to communicate, kind of just like snapping into like high volume progress. And the thing that some of us see, which I know I do see, some of us problem solvers, and Gemini is all part of it. If anything, that's what's going to be really cool about the Uranus going into Gemini, is that the problem of the mind can be solved. See, all it is just to look at it. You're not going to get rid of it, but once you see it, it begins to be what it is, which is, it's not reality, let's just say, and it's incapable of containing the truth, let's just say that. So the mind has to stand down and then begin to, like, okay, so talk about the reset, an effective resetting. But see, this is a phenomenon that happens. It's a curriculum for each and every individual, but now we're kind of going global with it, right? Okay, so with Saturn having gone into Aries, tempering down the Aries part of the organism that has impatience and tends to move ahead farther than anybody can. Well, Neptune there, conjunct, you know about that Aries. We still have a lot of Aries, even though there's Venus and Gemini. And I'm sorry, Venus, yeah, Venus is in Gemini right now. Can you believe this? I mean, there's so much Gemini going on right now, but see, we just got through a Venus conjunct Uranus, and the feminine needs to get in their position of power, which is to communicate. Yeah, so that's why communications is going to come up more and more. I mean, really, it's been about that. And of course, our monies is hooked up into our values, has to. So it might have been over the past 7 years when Uranus was in Taurus that people tried to communicate about something and they got shut down. Of course they did. I mean, they hit a wall. I mean, people were trying to, like, they weren't trying, they were just effortlessly getting together. And they were creating like a self value kind of a thing. What I mean is, it was happening naturally that people were growing together, kind of doing entrepreneurism perhaps more and more, right? Just coming together and talking more because, well, the internet does allow this to happen. But what snapped down, I mean, you remember somebody had a bright idea to take control of what I would think and what I know, a lot of us know intergalactically, sorry, is a cosmic shift that would happen, was supposed to happen, but the powers that be that takes the microphone and says, and now you will do this, instead of doing something. See, they do this, they do it systematically. It's hard to fucking try to get people aware of what's happening here. And the problem is that people don't know any other quality of life, so they don't know that there could be something different. Although, no, see, these people, whatever it is, there's an overlay of programming that they do know. See, because they have an inkling of, well, I wonder if I can have that for myself, or like, well, what about me? Kind of a human potential, which needs to get rid of the programming. But no, see, when they're getting money, they're going to still say, well, what about me? What about me? See, money isn't going to help them, right? It gives them protection, of course. See, the protection is in the wrong hands of totally insecure, vacated of self people. They are not self-aware. There's nobody home there. All that's left that's there is this mechanism of I'm up, you're down, goody two shoe, more like, okay, let's get back to the communal narcissism that puts on a facade that says I have met this criteria and that, and I even donate. Look, watch me. I'm donating $5 to the child fund or something like that. You know, all those donation funds right now, to date, poison. Babes, the communal narcissists, the way that they operate when they give to you money, it's like a drop of poison. They're offering the quagmire of their codependent enmeshment. And it's dangerous. It can be very dangerous. Yeah, it can be very dangerous especially when people are really in need. They have things that they can lose. Oh, and see, that's what we're dealing with, is people that have nothing to lose because they're already caught up in the the system, which has their soul. And so they're just looking around at people that have freedom, perhaps. They shine a little better. Their freedom. Again, I'll say that because that's a big thing. That's a luxury that gives you your own ability to access your own intelligence and then become better than somebody who can't do that, man. That's basically unreliable as a real presence. See, kind of just skipping over this, what I'm talking about is now, what we can see is it's obvious. It's horrible what's happening. The organism, I mean, intellectually, it's following a dystopian, you heard that, but it's just a programming of tapping your nerves, tapping your nervous system, tapping your fear. Yeah, your fear, your nerves, your fear. Your concern about your entire existential reality, like going to hell, that's exactly what's out there. They do it through a lot of things. You know, they're trying to do it through the medical, right? When they announced the COVID-19, they would try to make it to where almost like that it was illegal to get a vaccine if you didn't get a vaccine. And see, really invading your body, and it's all, ew, it's so gross, right? Right? But now they'll do it through, they've done it through all kinds of things. See, if they can, they will. They do it through now animals. Yeah, if your dog, if you don't get the vaccine, right? Well, now they threaten you readily. They will if they're an asshole right in front of you. A veterinarian will threaten you with how that it's against the law to not get your animal tagged with a fucking thing, an ID. It's none of their business. You know what I mean? After a while, they know that. They're right there with it. But see, now some employees or some employers in some mega corporations, right, they're already proudly doing it. They have the chip inside of a person's hand and they just wave it in front of the door and they get into their office building and see that's just testing, 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 experimenting. At the same time, there's the entity that's hooked behind it, Satan. Hi, hello, how are you? Are you watching this? You kind of like it. You're wondering, oh, why can't we hold this person down? Why can't I plug into that squirm and just love it? Well, see, this is the thing: is that is actually known in higher courts of law. If you just put yourself on the calendar and you say, now, by the way, see, people aren't doing this. See, we can just say no. We need to stop something. We just say we have to halt. Say and see, they would agree. A lot of the people in there are just human potentials, just like you and me, who have to do the same thing out there in the world. They have to fix their cars at the shop. They have to go to the medical system. They have to deal with the right. See now, how they would make it work for themselves is a very wretched way of life. Yeah, when you're doing the chutes and ladders and you become more and more into the world. How you doing, you fucking stinking people? And it's the prickly people against the or versus the the gooey people. It's not wiggly, but it's the same. You know, gooey is kind of wiggly, and the prickly are just kind of just sharp and and black and white, pretty much. Just if it's not up, it's down, and that's who they are and what they are, and they're boring. You know, they're into that pinball machine out there of money making. They don't understand that it's like dudes, people. Sorry, I don't ever say dudes, but I said it like twice in the past, 3 times here in the past 3,400 videos or whatever. So anyway, no, this is a weird place where we're at, and it's just programming that creates a backdrop scene that gets more and more imprisoned. It's an imprisonment. That's what we always known is that the world. See, people don't know how to talk about it. It's like it's the world, babe. It's the world that is imprisonment. But the earth is just taking it. We have many worlds that have come and gone, and we're looking at. Um, they won't let it. Who are they? Well, there's a few days. There's you who doesn't even, who's not self-aware, apparently. You don't think it's your responsibility to turn yourselves on and go to the courthouse and say, and by the way, what God are you talking about? Really, just be a little free radical. And it's a figure of speech. It's not a free radical. It's more like, what would you be? What is the opposite? See, they call it viral, go viral. But really now you're a contagion. See, that's the problem. That's the thing that they were wanting to block with the 6 feet distancing. That's what they want. See, they want you to become more and more aware of the influence. Now, do you know what influence means? The influence that you can be upon one another. Not that you're going to get each other sick. No. That you're going to run into one of me out there. who makes you see something of a life that's different, that is more like, okay, I don't mean to say that I'm better than anybody, but no. See, there's two types here, and Aries is really tapping into it. Yeah, we're just doing two modes here. There's the mode of, well, especially with people, operating like, okay, so we see that they are expanding and they are visionary and they are accepting and they are energetic and they are harmonious, and then there's the opposite. See, it's just the same as saying that there's a friend there or there's somebody who's incapable. Now, getting back to talking about these people that pose as being friends, and they're not really relating with you on the outside of their heads. And I don't know what the cure is for that. Uh, for you, you need to protect yourself from somebody who doesn't consider you as being a being. Like they're not even looking. No, you're a constant disappointment for that person. You know, at one point, see, a celebrity has to keep backing people away because they're not treating them like a regular person just trying to go get something at the store. You know, and people become an obstacle to their real life, just a simple life of how many things do they need to get done and that they have to do on their own that other people won't let them do because well, you know, a celebrity's problem, but no, this is the problem that you'll have. This is basically the problem you have with your narcissist, that is not being present with you, and they kind of, if you're not being precisely who they are, like that celebrity is just a cardboard thing, then they're all just they're having difficulty with you. And then they might do this, is they might try and throw money at you to get you to function. Like the machine that they, well, like the character inside of the machine that they, in their heads, I guess. Isn't that interesting? That is something that is very much really going on out there. And, pardon me, I've been alone way too long. But see, now that I know all of this stuff, it's like, okay, so now it's time to associate. But I've already associated enough. I wouldn't be able to even be interested in any of this without having experienced something firsthand that has always made me like, okay, so I had to question it. And then, of course, the internet would help us. Any any informative source. I mean, books are handy dandy because somebody has observed something in there now, and then they let you know, and then that's what knowledge is now edge. You know, you can get an edge. You can read and say, hey, you know what? No, I did experience that, and it gives you a sense of relief. But the thing is a lot of people don't understand. They do understand this. They do. They don't understand the truth. Like they don't know how to obey the truth inside of them. See, no, you get a gut feeling. You feel it inside of your body. You get buoyant. You feel good. See, a lot of people would. Well, what we've seen nowadays, especially since the COVID-19, and really they're making us try to question, how do you guys associate? You know, do you hear somebody say, water, water, it's coming, and then you actually you think you get wet? Or did you go like this and say, no, it's not really coming? What are you talking about, dude? Hello, can you help that person? Find out, are they schizophrenic? Did they just watch the TV? Or did they wake up from a dream? You know what I mean? So splash that cold water on their face and say, what do you mean? There it is, kind of a thing. But getting back to virus versus the contagion. See, Jim Carrey used to talk about this, and see, live performing artists are working with energy that comes from the inside out. See, your narcissist doesn't have that energy coming from the inside out. They're doing grabs, basically, and so they figure out really early, I guess, as to how to put up that facade and get the thumbs up from everybody, and from everybody who's not a musician or some like a mystic or somebody who's actually just really achieved as a human being, really has something deeper than just the norm out there, which is, I hate to tell you, but that backdrop scene of the plague, which is, oh, did you go to the public schools? See, public schools never existed. There was private schooling, and those people were getting a real education. It was so different, you know, and basically how to be here with each other and stuff like that is kind of lost. We do have overpopulating, therefore, but not in accordance to a farmhouse. I mean, in accordance to a farmhouse, it's, yeah, we have overpopulation. Now stand back, spray everything, get rid of whatever that you don't need. See, in the operations of farming, they're gardening, and who knows, babe, there's a lot of intentions. Boy, I'm just rattling, right? I'm rattling right now. Give me a donation. I want support away from people who can care less that I have a 3D life, and I want the things in my life to work for me, includes me. Very difficult what I'm going through, and so I have to talk to this person constantly. And well, I hope the money is worth it to them. God, thanks, you guys. Live performing artists, human beings, are running on a perpetual, and this is what's being taken advantage of. And we need to go to court and say, hey, no, excuse me, my energy is my energy, and I have a right to put value on it, and go out there and I was almost going to say make the same money that everybody else is making. No, no, nope. Will the side of the organism that is perfectly still kind of has their faculties, and they're not really stricken by a lot of things, are they going to be able to pop up and say, no, hell no, and let's create sanctuary by way of what's already here, what is already known, but has been pushed down, casted out, is your enlightenment. Your ability to just say, no, I have my life here, and I have a right to all of this. What kind of stupid game are we playing collectively? Well, how do we play it correctly? See, by intergalactic law or rule, I'm pretty sure it was whatever governed up Tartaria and they hid the cell phones in the way that they were all in communications. Basically, yes. And see, they only got away with so much, but they're still here, right? They're like, oh, okay, get a slap on the wrist, see, intergalactically, because it's like, no, this is their stuff. Whose? The human organisms. Well, where is that? Well, it was being incubated up by the time, get rid of the women, and let's do clones, and then they'll build the railroads all the way in New York, everywhere, just simultaneously, everywhere. It was a global thing, babes. Very interesting to think about, because they were no they were yes, they were moving around in Airbuses that went 133,000 miles an hour, and because we live, if you really want to know, and we're going to know this as far as the Gemini Uranus cram, here it is cramming. I'm doing a cram for you guys. A lot of us are going to discover, and we are. I think that there's some people are like, yeah, bullshit, and they have bad programming and they are a glitch, and that's fine. Keep working at the factory, but we're going to identify you as being dangerous because you're like a damn door stop or something that's going to keep the doors closed. The doors to perception. Thank you very much. You're just a machine. You're just from cradle to grave. I mean, I don't know, you are being incubated and then taken care of by the government, but that thing, the parasites and its host, has got to go. Fuck them. We're going to do something different with the money now. If we must use money, and I think we do. See, we have to use it in conjunction with a communication system, a globally choreographed movement that it's not in favor of your mind and working for being a teacher's pet over there. Oh, yay! My head is safe. I don't have to go into reality and actually be a real presence to life, all of the environment, the people there, what just happened. Oh, now I'm going to court. Yeah, because you wanted to go there, didn't you? No.